A collective of legacy foundations, including the Thabo Mbeki, Desmond and Leah Tutu, and FW De Klerk Foundations, have announced their withdrawal from the National Dialogue Preparatory Task Team. The foundations have cited erosion of citizen leadership and lack of financial and operational infrastructure as contributing factors to their withdrawal. Now, President Ramaphosa says the work of the National Dialogue and the convention, scheduled to begin on the 15th, will continue as planned, along with the participation of the foundations. FW De Klerk Foundation Executive Director Christo van der Rheeder joins us now for more. Christo, good morning and thank you so much for your time. Welcome to Newzroom Afrika.
Good morning, and good morning to all of your viewers.
Now, the legacy foundations are abandoning the National Dialogue Convention set for next week. Is this about protecting the integrity of leaders like Mandela, like Luthuli, and Mbeki himself from being associated with what you call a fundamentally compromised process?
I don't think we walk away from the National Dialogue. We must understand that the National Dialogue was conceptualized by the legacy foundations, and we've worked very hard since last year to structure the National Dialogue to ensure that it is a bottom-up process. Unfortunately, we have decided to not be involved in the National Convention because of a few reasons. One is that we feel that a parallel process was started by the Presidency, and that process will not lead to a National Convention that is all-inclusive, that is well-organized, and that is really going to assist with putting the National Dialogue on a sound footing. There's a lot of logistical problems that we face at this point in time. The money that was supposed to be made available came in too late. And then very importantly, we haven't communicated anything to the broader public out there due to the fact that there was no funding since last week.
Now, the foundations mention that there's no agreed plan for rolling out the real dialogue after the convention. Lack of financial and operational infrastructure, as indicated. They also mentioned risks of violating the Public Finance Management Act. Are we looking at potential corruption here?
No, I won't cast that type of aspersion at this point in time. What we've said is let us postpone the National Convention until October so that we can properly plan. The idea is really to inform communities what is the purpose of the dialogue, so that communities then elect their own representatives to attend the National Convention. I would like to refer to it as a national workshop where we train people how to facilitate these dialogues and to help people to understand what the purpose and outcomes of the local dialogue should be as part of the broader national dialogue framework. But more so, we want people to really engage constructively at local level, because it's not about the problems that we face. It's really about crafting a new future vision. We all know what the problems are. We face massive crime, massive unemployment. We face massive corruption, poor service delivery, communities going without water, our schools, many of our rural schools are in shambles. And I think that's where communities should start to empower themselves so that they, at the end of the day, create a better future for themselves at local level, and also bring about good expertise to take communities forward.
And you put forward a very, very important question. What is the purpose of the dialogue? The statement mentions deep disagreements within the preparatory task team. What's really happening inside the organizing committee?
Well, for us, the National Dialogue is a long-term process. As I've said, it starts with a good plan, because you need to have facilitators at grassroots level to bring communities together. You don't need a lot of money to do this, because the moment you put money down on the table, you know, what is the potential then for people not attending the national or local dialogues in the hope that there will be money. We say, let's do away with that idea that the National Dialogue is about money. Yes, you will need a bit of money, especially to run a series of advertisements, to communicate through the media to the broader public out there. You will have printing costs, you will have perhaps a cost for a website, You also need to put a data team together to compile local reports, provincial reports, also national reports. Then you have to have a project team to craft out a action plan to help communities to overcome the challenges that they face. Remember, we're going into a local election next year, and we can no longer tolerate the high levels of incompetence, high levels of corruption and apathy, especially amongst those that we elect into public office. So we say, let's, through the national dialogue, empower communities to take co-ownership of democracy, so that we hold those accountable that we elect into powerful positions. This travesty of injustice that continue to plague many communities must come to an end.
With that said, Christo, studies show that in fragile states, national dialogues either prevent collapse or guide transitions, but they require genuine elite commitment. Would you say that the government demonstrated that commitment?
At this point in time, it seems to me government wants to, and especially the presidency, deputy president office, wants to have a top-down process. Because then they have perhaps better control of the outcomes that they seek to achieve. What we are saying is that the national dialogue is not about achieving political outcomes, or it should not serve the agenda of a political party, because this is not what the national dialogue is about. And that's our argument. We need to have a real, genuine, and transformative bottom-up process.
What would that look like?
First. Make sure that communities understand.
What would that look like? What would a bottom-up process actually look like?
A bottom-up process entails the following: informing the communities through the media, through social media, through the print media, radio, and television, about the importance of communities, firstly, coming together, engaging on topics that they feel that inhibits progress within those communities. Also, to talk about the national constitution, our Bill of Rights that serve as a blueprint for development, and then engage constructively in terms of how do we solve the problems at local level, but very importantly for communities then to elect representatives. Those representatives should be going through a accredited process so that they then can attend the national dialogue or the national convention, the national workshop, and they will become the representatives that will liaise or will act as liaison between the national dialogue preparatory task team or the project office, and they will ensure that data is collected, that the inputs of communities are collected, and that is then sent to a central office where this information can then be dealt with, be compiled in a report, and then that feedback goes back to communities so that communities.
All right, we seem to have lost Christo there. The president, as we know, has said that the dialogue convention will continue as planned, despite the withdrawal of the legacy organizations.